Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And listen, today I got the best co-host ever. There she is.
Flattery gets you everywhere, sir. So hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist, self-publishing fantasy comics since 1992 with this miscreant right here. I am known for we are known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, and individually, I am known for my medieval fantasy drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. Both you can read online at eagleworks.com, EGOWORKS, and which is currently on Kickstarter right now.
There you go. And since he has the second greatest superhero comic ever, he's also the second greatest co-host.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, that's going on my resume now. I can clip that and send it to all the podcasts. Say go. JD says, and that's what it is. So yeah, Tom Hutchison, Big Dog Inc., writer, publisher, whatever needs to be done at Big Dog Inc., except for the art. We let the pros do the art bit of it. Celebrating 15 years of The Legend of Oz this year, and we'll be bringing the Critterverse back, the aforementioned second best superhero universe in comics in 2027.
Nice. Very nice. I like it. How you doing, Frank? Please introduce yourself.
Hello. Hey, gang. Yeah, I am Frank Walk, owner of Pigmentcast Studio and writer, creator, and colorist of Hellstones.
Very nice. How you doing, Mark?
Hey. Mark Bell from Plague Doctor Press. We produce two books, Spirit and Strange Ranger, where I'm the writer, the letterer, and the publisher, and hire amazing artists to do amazing artwork.
Cool. Mr. Wynn.
Hi, Marvin Wynn, writer, creator of The Edge from Comicsburg.
All right. Cool. Very nice, gentlemen and lady. Great to have all of you. So listen, I'm sure everybody's seen the show question. I don't know if you have or you haven't, but here it is. What is the impossible task you set for yourself in indie comics? Right? So last man in, first man up. Marvin, you're up.
So impossible. I don't like the word impossible. I don't think there's anything I can, it's impossible. Improbable, maybe impossible, yes. But I think that mixed media is where goals I set that I probably won't reach, but movies, animation, games, etc., the things that are more expensive as far as being an independent creator.
Okay, that's fair. Mark, what are your thoughts?
So I've actually been on this impossible task thing for quite a while now, because the shortest version of the story is when I grew up, I had a buddy who could draw. So I did all the writing. I concentrated on the writing, and he did all the drawing, and we made really bad comics, and it was fantastic. Some of which we still have, which are fantastic. But in the 2000s, like the 2005 range, I was like, okay, if I'm ever going to do a comic, I've got to do it now. I should learn how to draw. And I really tried. Like, I got all the pencils, I got all the pens, I got all the books, I did it all. I worked for like 30 to 90 minutes a night on this after work. I did all the exercises. And it was about 6 months in, my wife was like, it's time to stop. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't going to come to be a reality. And then about 2 years ago, I started again, and I'm got to the point now where I think I might try to do like some short strips. And I have an idea, and if I can't make it a reality, maybe I can hire Daphne to do the artwork. So that's my impossible dream, is to make my own comic and to produce that book as a single creator, because I've never done that.
Okay, that's fair. Frank, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, committing myself to, a 13 book run, plus prologue, and then having to do everything on the book myself, aside from the line art, is a lot to juggle. Not only time wise, but, financially as well. I'm making sure that I'm backing everything first, then going to Kickstarter with a finished product and hoping to recoup from there. So a lot of risk on doing that. And also ramping up production to 3 books a year in 2027. So it's just a big grind and a big hill to climb with a lot of weight to it, but improbable, not impossible, like Marvin said. I'm with you, buddy.
All right. Fair enough. Tom, what are your thoughts?
The impossible dream is being on time. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Stop worrying about it, everybody. It's not going to happen. We're going to get better, but it's not going to be possible to be on time. There's too many factors in the world today to make everything perfect on deadlines. But the real impossible task is something that I've been talking about for a while, and it kind of gets ever closer to sort of happening, which is getting one of our properties turned into a movie or web series or whatever it ends up going to be. But there's so many moving parts that are just continuing to move. Like at some point I kind of looked at it as like one of these is going to stall out and this is going to fall apart, but none of the moving parts have stopped moving. So I've kind of put it on myself. 2030 is our 20-year anniversary. So I kind of have put it on myself like that's the goal. Is for our 20th anniversary, we are going to have some aspect of this movie done or web series or whatever. At minimum, we'll be in production during our anniversary, so we can kind of really have something to celebrate, all year long. And but the backside of that is there's 2 other projects that have somehow found odd steam. As far as turning them into potential animated series. And we're not going to talk about those because they're even further down the pipeline than this movie that we're trying to do. But interestingly enough, there's a Tony Award winning composer that I know who's like, well, I'll do your theme song. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where is this stuff coming from? So, I think we've been doing this now for 16 years. I think the consistency of it, even though we've kind of fallen behind on fulfillment and stuff, the books still get out. They still get into people's hands. They still like them. So I think just kind of that consistency has just kind of kept us in this holding pattern of like viability in people's eyes. And so I have a real sense that we should have something of those 3 projects. Probably the Princesses versus Zombies movie, but one of those 3 projects will at least be in production by 2030.
Cool. Quick question. Are you going to be producing, directing, both?
Well, for the movie, there is a director that I know who is interested. I have a couple of producers outside of him that have expressed interest. So there's multiple kind of ways that it can go. That's what I'm saying. There's like all these moving parts, and I keep expecting one of them to like just run into a wall and be like, nah, we're out. But all of them keep going. But I know some guys who do really great character or costume design. So like I've talked to them about like, would you do these designs? And they're like, fuck yeah, let's go. So I've got that. I've got the director. I would be producing in some capacity, working on the scripting and the adaptation, the writing of it, and that kind of thing. But I would kind of want, and I've talked to the director. I'm like, I'm not looking for a director credit, but I want to learn what the hell you're doing while we're here too. I want to get that lesson of like, how do you do this for real? So I'm going to hang around a lot. So just have them just be aware that I'm going to be there watching all the steps. But yeah.
Well, he might let you do B unit.
I'm open for that stuff, Yeah, whatever he would need or think that I'm capable of, I'm game to do it because one of my thought processes was I was actually going to take a couple of years ago. I was going to take 2027 off completely, and I was going to go to film school. Like I had that in my brain. I'm like, this is it. I'm done. I'm stopping. I'm going to film school. But then the comics kind of got a shot in the arm, and all of a sudden, like all that stuff from AP Critter was popping, and the Kickstarters are doing well, and I'm like, God damn it! If I stop, that's a lot of momentum there that just like dries up. So I kind of changed that system, and then when I met the people that know how to make a movie by themselves, I was like, oh well, I'll just learn on the job if I can, if I can put that sort of crew together, and learn that way, and then come out the other end of that and see what I can do by myself down the future.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Daphne, what are your thoughts?
My impossible task is actually being good at this. There are days I just hate everything that I do, and there are days where it's just like, well, I'm not doing anything else. So, so it's like, I think it's more, I don't feel like after all this time, I'm going to, I guess, like be the artist that I imagine myself to be, because it's like the goal is just way above my head. And it's like, and the growth is very incremental. So there just comes a point where it's like, oh, I just have to accept the fact that I am never going to like reach an Arthur Adams pinnacle. So not that the idea is to like, okay, so why bother? But it's more like, accept the fact that there are certain things that I would have to do to get to that point that I've just accepted that I'm like either unwilling or unable to do, and to just accept the limitations that I have and work, and kind of like work with them or work around them. But that's kind of, where I'm at right now. It's just, the impossible task. That's, yeah.
Okay. That's fair. For myself, my impossible task is completing my long-running project, the Oswald Chronicles. That's my impossible task. So I have 14 stories left in his final third of his life that I have to complete. Well, they're already written, so I just have to get them illustrated out and eventually get them out into the wild. My lead artist, Jay Gonzalez, she's already started on the first story in those 14, so that's good. And then my second artist, Aurelio Tillis, he'll hopefully be hitting that in the next 2 or 3 months. So, and yeah, that's my impossible task. The other backslash to that is trying to get into the direct market. That's the other one. So, like I said, those gates have gotten high. So,
well, I think the most impossible task mentioned here was Mark's, which is trying to get Daphne to work for anybody but herself.
Yeah, that's
a
a literal impossible task.
Yeah, that is true. Well, she knows her priorities. Daphne, you're up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on.
To take away your credit, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. So this is something that I've been trying to like percolate as an idea, and I haven't been really able to like clarify it in a way that I think will be helpful to anybody, but I'm going to try here. So unlike other, because I have it on notes, I have my notes. Unlike other media, critique review culture is discouraged in indie comics in favor of constant positivity, making every title feel equally promoted. How do we expect new readers to navigate the scene and find what's actually good if there's no overall environment of recommendation? Without critics and reviews, what signals would make a reader trust that an indie comic is worth their time? And are we stunted as a community because of it? Yeah, I know. Look, I'm still thinking about this. Okay, I'm ruminating on this.
All right, everyone, let's peel that onion.
Can we do the meaning of life question first,
Right.
and then we get to that one?
Look, this is a show about impossible tasks, so get to it.
And I will say that I think that journalism for comic books doesn't exist anymore. And I would probably say that it never was really a thing besides like Newsarama and a few other sites. And since those have disappeared, like a lot of things seem to be word of mouth. As far as anyone
Right.
who's reading something that is not something that's already in their wheelhouse. So, Batman, Avengers, X-Men. Most of the other stuff that people are picking up, something is killing the children, other thing, is all word of mouth, either from the people who are picking it up or for the people in the comic shops that are letting people know, hey, there's this new book coming out. It's called et cetera. But you should check it out. It's like something that you like.
Well, I think some of that though is also based on the creator. Like in his case, he's a guy who did Marvel and DC stuff, so he got that trickle down effect of like,
Right.
oh, now he does this. So
Yeah,
it wasn't just like an out of the blue,
Yeah.
pickup.
Yeah, but I don't think comic journalism is a thing anymore, and it
No, I
hasn't
agree.
been a thing for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, Daphne.
So how are new people supposed to navigate?
Hold on, Mark. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, a couple twofold. First of all, the way I navigate this is there is some review culture in the other areas that I touch other than comic books, right? So all ages, and there's a lot of parents that do reviews of books and graphic novels and things like that, that I try to get involved in, as well as that sort of reader review culture that goes along with LGBTQ positive stuff like I do. So those two things put together, I've had some success getting reviews. But I understand what you're saying about journalism, and I completely agree. But I think there's a new type of media review process that includes things like YouTube. You have Kat at Lifetime Comics doing 10 Kickstarters to pay attention to, and things like that really kind of, I notice an uptick in my Kickstarters when I get mentioned on there and things like that. On the back of my trade, I have a review comment from a LGBTQ blog that summed up exactly what I was looking for. So it does occasionally happen. What I find is you've got to keep those. Like I have a file I call the good stuff, where I keep my reviews of comics and the novels I write and the podcast that my wife and I do. All that, anything we get, even just a personal note or a review, I put it in there so that I can go back to that file and look at it when you feel like you're never going to become Arthur Adams. And B, that's a great place to draw those quotes and things from.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like book talk is also a thing where people are talking about the thing, but I think what Daphne was looking at was that line. So that positive, negative line. I've been told by some people who were reviewing books, I won't, if I don't like it, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah. I think also that we all know how hard it is to do this. So we never want to disparage anybody who's actually done it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, feedback is a gift too, though. So, I mean, if you are going to say something and it could be construed as constructive criticism, that's different than just being negative or tearing something down just for the sake of it. So there is kind of a fine line to that when presenting that material.
Imagine a Rotten Tomatoes for comics.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
A good read. actually.
Right. I was about to say that Goodreads, they have their system. Daphne just pointed out to me the other day. I have a few books up there that are actually on there that people have given stars to and all that jazz. So, I mean, it's out there. But Frank, I mean, you have any more thoughts on it?
Yeah. And unfortunately, like the formatting for these things is just small little niche pockets kind of scattered here and there. Unfortunately, there's not really one big kind of go-to or even close to mainstream way of presenting that material. And I think that's where the it's hurting the most, is because if you're looking for reviews, you actually have to kind of go out and look for them. They're not going to kind of really come to you like they might have back in the day, through other sources or anything like that. So word of mouth is so powerful. But unfortunately, it also leads to a very slow audience build.
Yeah.
Too true. Tom, what do you think?
Who cares about reviews, honestly? How many of us here, be honest, went looking for reviews of random comics anytime in the last 30 days? Not your own. I understand searching for your own, but just like, hey, let me find some reviews about stuff. Zero? One time? So it's minimal is the point. It's very minimal, right, Calderon?
Well, okay. I normally do it when I'm ordering books, right? So every month I look through the catalog.
That's fair.
Right? And I'll see some random book from Image, Dark Horse, whomever, right? And that's when I'll go look for reviews, because I'm only interested in buying trades and hardcovers.
Sure.
And compendiums.
Sure.
So I want to go find, see, is this a decent book? Does it have decent ratings? Then that's when I order. Right. So
of the six of us, the answer is one of us does this. So I have never bought a book because of a review. I buy a book based on what I see. Show me what the book is.
Have you watched a movie based on a review?
No, I go to the movies to tear movies down. Don't you? You know me, right?
No, that was a general question. Like I think
I don't. For example, people were talking about Obsession, right? And I asked people, I'm like, is this real, or is this another weapons situation where I'm going to go see this movie and it's going to be garbage? Right. So I asked people about their opinions, but I don't actively go and like, well, am I going to see this movie? Let me read Rotten Tomatoes to make a decision. Like that doesn't happen for me. It's either I've seen something that makes me say, I want to look at that. I want to buy it. I want to go see the movie, or whatever it is. Or I see it and I go, absolutely not. And that's pretty much it. So for me, reviews don't really mean anything. I have looked up my own reviews. I've seen good, I've seen bad. Like they say, don't read the comments. Don't worry about it. Just keep making stuff, right? I do understand the context though here that she's asking you about, because it would be cool to have something that is a little more open for the indie world, because there's tons of places that talk about Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman, and tons of places talk about that stuff. But unless you're like we just talked about, unless you're like Something's Killing the Children, where you've got names attached to it, largely the stuff that comes from Aspen or Zenoscope or Vault or whoever, largely that stuff just kind of goes under the radar and disappears. And it does require that word of mouth. It does require somebody to just take a shot at it and then tell Calderon, yes, this is worth buying when it's a trade. Calderon, go get it. So I even when we had Wizard back in the day, Wizard was great for marketing and all that kind of stuff, but Wizard was really just based around collecting hype. It was based on, you need to have this because number one, such and such and such, whatever. So, I think Goodreads is a great example of what does exist. We have stuff on Goodreads that people have reviewed that I didn't even know existed. But I don't know that review culture is in some capacity. It does exist. Like people will review restaurants and stuff, like, oh, I'm at this place and a thing, and they're taking pictures of their food, but we don't really have people going like, oh, look, click the picture of my comic book and posting that on, that doesn't exist. So but because of the way that the world is right now, I would simply ask, why doesn't it? And if it doesn't, there's probably a reason. And it's probably because the people that are reading this stuff are just like, oh, fucking awesome. This was great. I'm going to put it on my bookshelf and I'm going to wait for the next one to come out. And,
right.
It's just a calmer group of people that they're not like actively, yay, 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 yay. It's just sort of like, I enjoyed it. This is good. I'll tell my friends, but that's all you're going to get.
Yeah. But I mean, and speaking of the restaurant world, the reviews can keep a restaurant open.
Sure. Or it can shut it down in an instant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
so do you really want that review out there?
Right?
I mean,
but I mean, it's a different mechanism for movies, for restaurants, for games, and then for comics. It's like a clean slate almost.
Yeah.
And from a comics perspective, is a feature story more valuable than a review?
When we really know what's really valuable is somebody on Blue Sky going, I read this book and the art is awesome. Here's a picture of it.
Yeah, that's the influencer culture is what indie people unfortunately need. They need, but again, that's just word of mouth. All that is still word of mouth. It's just a different level of word of mouth. So if you can get your books into the hands of people that talk about comics all the time and pray to God that they like what you've given them, that can give you a boost in an instant. Yeah. And if it's like Mark was talking about, it's sometimes it's very genre specific. Like if you do a steampunk book, there are steampunk communities that you want to get it into. Don't worry about comic book communities. Get it into the steampunk community and send it there. If it's some sort of sci-fi, try and get deep into the sci-fi world. It's what's funny is we almost need to abandon the comic book world and go look for comic book people in all the other bubbles of genre and that sort of thing. Because really the reality is that the comic book world is basically Marvel and DC, and that's the bulk of what those people talk about. But that doesn't mean that there aren't steampunk people out there that are buying Lady Mechanica that don't care about Batman. You just have to go find those other bubbles and be like, hey, I make a steampunk thing. Here it is. And, hope it's good enough for them to lose their mind over it.
That's an interesting and pretty valid way to look at that. I hadn't looked at it from that perspective before.
That's definitely the approach that's worked for me. I've had people who are like, I don't usually read comics, but I saw yours and I got into it. So
I get people with my Oz book all the time. They're like, I don't read comics, but I know what the Wizard of Oz is. Show me what your Wizard of Oz book is. And it's been a absolute doorway to everything else that we do, because once they're in with, and they're like, oh, this is like cool. Like, what else do you do? Oh, we got horror, we got superheroes, we got, whatever. And then they can just kind of feed at the trough of whatever we make at that point.
Yep.
All right. Cool. For myself, like I've done reviews in the past, and I would do them, I've done them on this website. Well, I mean, this channel, but usually it's for stuff that I've read, and they're not really reviews. When I was doing them, they're recommendations. If you see, it's straight up a recommendation. It's not even a review. It's just like, I read this book. I like this book. You may like it too. Go check it out. Reviews I find a little tougher because the community is small, and if someone feels slighted by what you say, they do get offended, right? And I understand it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of effort. It's somebody's love child, and you're never going to tell anybody, yes, dude, your kid is ugly. Your kid is ugly, right? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to ever hear that, right? It's like, right? Nobody wants to hear that. And I understand. I don't want to hear my kid is ugly either, right? I'm like, your mouse is smelly. Ah, shit. Right? I don't want to hear those words.
You have too many info dumps.
Exactly. Right. Yes. Nobody wants to hear. Well, in that particular instance, that helped me because I got rid of the info dump, and that's the other thing.
Right.
Sometimes a good review can help you improve your work. That's what I found. I like I said, I had these guys, they came out, they said, well, there's an info dump right here. And I couldn't get into it because of it. And I was like, and I remember when I read it, there's no info dump in it. I read it and I was like, holy shit, there's an info dump right there. Exactly where they said it's at. And I pulled 5.5 pages out of that story, and I just ripped them right out, and I had to marry pages, all this crazy stuff in Photoshop, but I got it together and it reads much better because of it. So sometimes a review can help. It's just if you're willing to listen, right? And I thought they were a little douchey about it, but I still tried to listen to what they were saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? I tried to listen. I said, okay, what are they focusing in on, and I focused and listened. Like I said, I came to the conclusion. I was like I said, I was like, there's no way this is possible, and I just went in and I just cut it out.
Well, were these guys that did the review? Did you know who they were? Were they like, for example, a lot of times if you get a critique, you didn't know who they were. If you get a critique, personally, a lot of it is like, where's it coming from, right?
Right.
And so you can take all of this with sort of a grain of salt, like this guy, who is this guy? What is he talking about? But if Jim Lee is like, oh, this mouse, you got to fix this mouse, Calderon. You got to probably listen to Jim Lee a little more than the guys that are just random dudes on the side.
Right.
But yeah, it's always been a listen to the review, listen to the critique, see if it makes sense to you. Like with you went and saw what they were talking about, and you were like, got it. But if you went there and you didn't see that, you'd be like, well, whatever. Like these guys are crazy. I'm out of here. But there was that grain of salt that you went after, and it fixed it. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. We as the creators have a certain onus on us to, find that silver lining or that grain of salt, and look for that and go, hey, does this make sense? Are they trying to communicate something, albeit in a douchey way? Are they trying to communicate something that I should listen to? And you're absolutely right. Sometimes they're like, oh no, they're just nitpicking on something ridiculous or whatever. But if you can take that onus on yourself and look and take the time to look and analyze and self-reflect, you might be able to improve. Right.
Yeah. That was.
But you also got to have a thick skin for it, though. That's for damn sure. Someone's always got something to say.
That's why Rosario's not here. He can't handle these questions.
I'm not even gonna touch that one. Daphne, what's your answer?
Well, it's like people do care about reviews because every other industry has an entire culture of reviews. So obviously they mean something. I've been taking a lot of cues from indie publishing. So on the novel side of everything, like Book Talk and Goodreads. And, the one thing that the authors always have to remind each other is that the reviews are not for you. The reviews are for people looking for something, are probably looking for your books, but they need a trail of recommendations to get to your book. So technically the reviews are not about you, or they're not about you. They're not for you. So that's kind of, the difficulty I've had in really thinking about how it could work in indie comics, because just it's like everyone's concerned about what a reviewer would do for their book, when actually what I'm really trying to find out is how does somebody coming into our space actually find our books without having to go to 19,000 different websites or scroll Kickstarter, to scroll the 300 entries on Kickstarter in a given month. So I opened up a Goodreads account, especially once I found out that they had a comic section in there. But then there's the whole thing about trying to get people to actually review stuff, people who I don't know who've read my stuff, to actually leave a review or at least a star rating, and seeing how that algorithm in Goodreads works. And how, because a lot of people do find their books that they're reading on Goodreads. So yeah, so I'm just kind of like wondering, it's like, well, is that something that as a whole we're missing out on? Or again, it's one of those things where we are just way too small for any of this to really work.
That's a fair thought.
Yeah, I think because even if you were to make the example was the Rotten Tomatoes, even if you were to make a Rotten Tomatoes for this stuff, people still have to go to Rotten Tomatoes,
right?
Look for the things they want to see. Obviously the front page changes and there's things there, but to me, everything is a search. I mean, everything is a search at all times, even if you have some kind of an aggregate like a Rotten Tomatoes type of a thing. So, it comes back to the stuff you don't like, Daphne, which is marketing yourself and putting yourself out.
No, fuck that shit.
In whatever capacity that you can, either on your own or through a influencer or whatever.
But that's where it So that's where it comes to, because like I said, I watch all these authors, and and it's like, in the whole thing, whenever they're about to release a book, they have like a whole thing called ARC, advanced review copies, where they get like a team of people to read their stuff and to purposefully leave reviews. Like, that's the point of people. Like, it's like, okay, I'll let you read my book in advance of everybody else, but the trade-off is that you have to leave a review, because then pretty much they're review bombing Goodreads, and then the idea is that the algorithm picks that up. But getting anybody to review shit is like pulling teeth.
You can't get people to comment on this podcast.
Right?
How are you getting people to go to a website, click on a thing, write some sentences?
Well, like I said, it's like but it could be. But then again, I'm also I'm also talking about authors who probably have like thousands of people who read their books and are in their circle already. So that momentum does something when it happens. But again, it's like, it's like, what, post it one more time to Facebook and once more time to Instagram is not going to all of a sudden, give me visibility, or add or make it easier for discoverability, so that's kind of like the thing that, because in the end, like I said, I'm leaning more towards actually what you said about, we actually have to leave comics in order to put our books in order to get people to pay attention to our books. And even then it's like, but yeah, so like I'm leaning more towards, it's like that, to get people to read comics, you actually have to go outside of comics to do it. And that's like, and that we're not big enough as a community. Because this is also the thing too that kind of like crossed my head, is that in indie comics, in our sphere, there's probably more people creating comics than reading comics.
Certainly feels like it.
Yeah. So, so like in the end, who are we talking to?
Well, yeah, most creators are comic fans, so they'd be crossing that over for sure.
You know what? And even then, I question that. Like they're fans of their own comics, but very, very rarely do I see people talk about. Do I see other creators talk about other indie comics? Like you can ask them, what, and they'll tell you all day about like The Walking Dead or like Saga or whatever, whatever's coming out at Image. But I'm talking about, do you like? They don't read other micro publishers.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah,
so it's not helpful. Even when there are fans, it's not helpful because they're not reading the books in our circle. They're reading mainstream stuff and mainstream indie, because I think in the end that's what Image Comics is. But they're not reading the books of, I guess, their peers. I guess, so we don't gain anything from that help because there is no help. So that's why it's like I'm kind of that's why I'm like having trouble percolating this. But I think it's like, it's the whole like you got to leave comics.
I'll say that from a different perspective is that I go to conventions, comic conventions, and I go to book fairs. I've never book fairs.
Book fairs.
I have never at a book fair had anyone tell me they don't read comics. I've heard at multiple comic shows I don't read comics.
Yeah, that is the strange thing, right? That is
it's not strange when 90% of comic cons are just pop culture cons now.
Right.
I mean, they're there for the Power Rangers, and then they just wander around and eat a burger. That's their day at the con. So, like if you were to go to Heroes Con is a comic con, is a comic art con. Yeah. Nobody's going there looking for Power Rangers. They are comic book people. Yeah. So, again, as far as like getting eyes on your stuff, you got to go to the right places, where those people really are. And there are hits and misses within that kind of context too.
Right.
True. Well, we've already gotten into the fray. So here's Hellstones. Anyway, so
2 out of 10.
Good transition.
No, it's not.
Here all week.
All right. So Frank, please let us know what's Hellstones all about.
Yeah. So Hellstones is a gritty supernatural action series that really focuses on exploring the dynamics of power and corruption and what it costs to do the perceived right thing when the world is burning down around you. What's the weight of that? So the series focuses in on these ancient relics, but it's really more character driven. The story is really about the main character Sam and her journey in this world and navigating these powers.
Okay, cool. So what was the genesis, like why Hellstones? Like what brought you to this story?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2015, I was working a really boring desk job, as I'm sure some of you can relate to. And I was just doing some creative writing. And it really ended up just me developing this Sam character. And from there, I ended up writing basically a one-page just concept story. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to ever do with this. Maybe I'll build a D&D campaign around it or something like that. Who knows? And that was back in 2015. But then I started getting into the indie comic scene as a digital painter and then as a colorist, and started to learn the production side of comic books. And that's when I was going through my old files, seeing this, and I was like, this would be perfect for this medium. And I just started writing it and developing it. But yeah, I wanted to do something different, something that I hadn't, something that I would like. Really, I'm writing for myself. I think it's just fun and something a little more, like I said, character driven. Like there is like the supernatural elements to it in regards to the Hellstones themselves, but it's really a character driven story throughout.
Okay, cool. So obviously this is the first issue. How many issues in the arc?
Yeah, there's going to be a total of 13 books, plus the prologue book that I released last year, book 0.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And
that first issue.
I'm sorry.
The first issue will be 24, 32 pages. What are you looking at?
It's 24 pages.
Okay, cool. And 2 more questions. When are you looking to launch?
Launching this week, July 1st.
Oh, very nice. All right, cool.
Absolutely. Cool. We're right around the corner.
How many days in the campaign?
It's going to run until August, so it's going to be a full month.
So 30 days.
30 days. That's 30, yeah. However many's in July.
30, 31. Okay. Now, your video, is it long, short?
It's about 1:45.
Okay. Now
that's the wrong question.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, that is the wrong question because the real question is it going to have anything on it that's going to copy strike me because I get them?
No,
Okay.
no. It's all
No
original
music.
content, no copyright stuff at all.
All right.
When Michael struck Lucifer from the heavens, his severed wings shattered and became 7 stones. Power scattered across time, whispering to anyone who dares to listen. I thought that was legend, until I held one. It pushes past fear and rewrites what your body can do. It changes you. I'm looking for my mentor, Gary. He taught me how to survive, how to fight, and why these stones can't fall into the wrong hands. If anyone can make sense of this, it's him. But the world's tearing at the seams. The Lightbringers preach salvation. Lucian Holdings sells tomorrow. They're chasing power they don't understand. I've stayed in the shadows, kept my Hellstone hidden. Now the hunt's back on. Mercenaries in the brush, lasers rake the leaves. Every step betrays me. This is where I draw the line. I've run long enough. It's time to jump into the fray.
All right, cool. Very nice. Did you do the animation?
No. I hired someone far better than myself for that.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Well, they did a good job. You did a good job with the book. It looks really nice. It looks really nice. So, all right. So cool. So what you said, the 1st?
Yes, July 1st.
July 1st, Wednesday. Okay, cool. So everybody go check it out. Got to hit that notify button. Very nice. I like it. All right, cool. Daphne gets no intro because, you know, she doesn't like my segues. But before her.
Yeah, right.
Mark, please walk us through.
Hey, so I am about to start the Kickstarter on Spirit 4. Spirit is a LGBTQ positive, all ages supernatural comic where a group of teen girls help Mothman and a drag queen save a bus full of children that will do nothing but warm your hearts. Spirit was created in 2018 as I was trying to create a comic book company and create a lead comic book that was an adventure comic for young women that promoted all the values of female-led characters, science, positivity, LGBTQ positivity, diversity positivity, all that good stuff. Because there are a lot of books, and there's still a lot of books about dudes in their underwear beating up other dudes in their underwear, and I love those books. I go get my Daredevil and Batman comics every week, but I wanted to do something different, and Spirit is the result of that. I wanted, in the very first impossible dream, was to produce a comic, a single book. That was what I was hoping for, and it's turned into a 7-year enterprise where I now have 4 issues of Spirit, the 4th issue we're working on and doing the Kickstarter of, and 2 issues of another series. I'm working with Melissa Caprione again in this issue, who has a Dark Horse graphic novel out called Basil and Oregano, and a guy who happens to live in my neighborhood, Nate Powell, has offered to do a cover for me for an insane price because he loves Spirit and he loves the idea. So he has done an amazing cover, variant cover that I cannot wait to show people. So I'm hitting all the buttons of Mothman, Nate Powell, all that good stuff. I am also offering, because in the all ages market, to get into libraries and schools, you need to have a trade. So I have a trade of the first 3 issues now. So you can get all caught up with the trade and get issue number 4, all available from this Kickstarter. We are launching Tuesday because I wanted to get ahead of Frank, one day ahead. And I will be going 30 days also.
Okay, very nice. And is this issue for the end of the arc, or is there more to the arc?
No, there's one more book to the arc, which will have witches in it. And then that's the finish of their kind of junior year of high school. And then I'm going to pitch a trade that'll be the senior year of high school for them.
Okay. Very, very nice. So very nice. Okay, cool. I mean, listen, sounds great. I read your other book. I thought that was fantastic. So, I have faith in you.
You're so nice, man. To me, every day is a dream. I wanted to make one book, and the trade paperback is the 4th time I've printed the material from Spirit One, and I'm giving my artist royalty kickbacks because I've printed it so many times. So.
Oh, nice. Very nice. All right, good. Excellent. I mean, looking forward to it. So you said you start Tuesday. All right, very nice. So everybody hit that notify button and go pick up a book. It looks great. Very nice. Cool. All right. Now this guy, I don't even know if he deserves it, but he's on the edge. So there you go. Marvin, you want to play this?
JD's terrible.
Tomato.
You know what? I'm kicking everybody off the show. Want to play this video?
It's the JD show.
Yeah, I know, really. Marvin, video?
Yeah.
I bet not get any copyright strikes, man.
They don't know what it is, can't explain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know what it is, can't contain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know if it's real. Top secret classified. But when it comes for you better run it high. They don't know what it is, can't explain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know what it is, can't contain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. Blame, mystic, interim, Randa, him, Chip, Tandra. Blame, mystic, interim, Randa, him, Chip, Tandra.
See that? You didn't even get a copyright strike.
I hope not. It happens every time. Every time I play one of these with music in it, I get a strike.
Now, the worst part is that if it's from Epidemic Sound, unless everyone has a subscription attached to the account, it's always going to strike you. So, yeah.
All right. So,
maybe that's it. Yeah. So The Edge issues 10 through 14. This is volume 3. God's Thunder is an organization that hates people with powers. They've recruited someone with powers to eliminate people who have powers. So they can't fight them themselves, so they're going to get someone else to do their dirty work. So they send this Kyret, this 8-foot hulking monster, to take everybody out. So we're already funded, so we're just chasing stretch goals now.
Nice. Congrats, man.
Thank you. I've got one at 50 backers and then another one at $2,500.
All right, cool. So this is what, your 3rd trade paperback?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And are you still releasing them as single issues?
Yes. So even though we don't have a store distribution at the moment, I'm still doing single issues. People still ask for them, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get them yet. So or issues 14 issues of the book right now.
Okay, cool. Now, as far as the store distribution, are you still doing the self-distribution thing where you're reaching out to individual stores and doing it that way?
Yeah, so I've got about 20, 25 stores still on the direct distribution model. But again, it's painful to ship to that many stores.
Gotcha.
But we did sign a deal with IPG for book distribution. So trades will go through bookstores, comic stores, libraries, Barnes and Nobles, et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha. Since you're going through bookstores, are they returnable, or do you have the option of doing like non-returnability as opposed to, you know?
We have both options on the table of returns and non-returnable.
Okay. Cool. I mean, Mark, I don't mean to get all into your business, but I'm gonna get all into your business.
You know, I'll answer a question if I can.
I know.
I'm not shy.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Now, have you still been trying to kick down the door at Universal and what's the other one, Lunar?
Yeah. I mean, we've had talks. I don't think that we're going to be able to cross that barrier until next year.
Okay.
So we'll find. I'll get to talk to them next year because I'll be going to Comics Pro next year. We don't know where it's going to be at yet, but I'm going to. I'll be able to talk to them in person about what's the holdup with them because they did reach out to me for information. So it's always funny when I kind of like they contact you, they say, hey, we want all your stuff, and then you don't hear from them.
Right.
Yeah. So we got hot sauce in here. We got coffee. We've got things from Wham Labs. Root beer didn't make the cut because I can't ship it. I've like gone back and forth with packaging and trying to get that root beer out because root beer moves fast. Like I've already gone. I've got like 15 cases, and I've gone through like 8 cases of the root beer.
I mean, you're afraid that you're gonna put on more weight because you're drinking that much root beer?
No, not me. I'm not drinking that much root beer, buddy. I wouldn't even be on the show. I'd be in the bathroom. Yeah, it sold like the hot sauce and the root beer sold really well at Heroes. We sold 2 cases of root beer and about 15 bottles of hot sauce at Heroes Con.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. I mean, yeah, I'm happy that's working out for you. I mean, are there any other like weird or like, you know, other things you're looking to get into other than the hot sauce and the coffee?
I mean, I'm not guy that I just sit there sometimes and I just think, man, that would be cool to have. So we are doing a Comics Book honey mustard barbecue sauce, and then there's going to be an Edge barbecue sauce. So we're going to barbecue sauces next. As long as there's a vendor out there that's interested in working with us, I'll try.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
I wanted to do like chips, maybe. Like there's a bunch of vendors in the area to do chips, so I mean we could talk to them about doing potato chips or something like that. Whatever comes up in my head when I'm just sitting here thinking, and I say, "Oh, let's try this." And if I reach out to a vendor and they're like, "Yeah, we can do that for you," cool.
All right, cool. Now, in the book, do you have them drinking coffee?
That's coming up. I mean, I was trying to find a way to put it in there without it being just obvious. Like silly. It's
right.
Like they walk into a room and all of a sudden everyone's drinking coffee in the room. Like everybody doesn't drink coffee though, so it doesn't make sense. And then you'll have the bag sitting there. Like that's corny. You have to figure out a non-corny way to do it, but it's coming.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Nice.
No such thing as non-corny product placement. It's all terrible.
I mean, I think it's rather ironic that you're making your own products and you can't even do product placement in your own comic.
It just has to feel right. It didn't like, because we did just drop a bottle of hot sauce in the background. I'm like, man, that doesn't make any sense. Why is that hot sauce there? Like it wasn't in the kitchen. It was just sitting on a table. Like
because because in the end, it's like obviously people don't mind that they're buying a hot sauce from a comic. So why not have the hot sauce in the comic?
Right.
I mean, just do an ad with your characters eating the hot sauce.
That's what I'm. That's what.
Or you do like, you know how anime, they always have like the beach episode. So
Mhm.
it's like you need to have like a beach episode where everyone's at a barbecue and they're eating the chips and
go.
they're having
Yeah,
the barbecue sauce. And
But it's funny because I do have a beach scene in the earlier book, but I'm like,
Right.
should I go back and add it into that scene? But yeah, we'll get it in there.
You know what would go with this barbecue sauce?
Yeah, or you need to make a very specific comic just
Right.
about the chips and the hot sauce and the root beer.
But we do have, so like my tribute to Colt Slither from G.I. Joe is we have a band in the book in issue 11 called Bad Fan. And I just wrote the lyrics to a song that I'm going to get route recorded. So I mean that fits into what that means. So we're going to do that.
All right. All right, cool. We have another 33 days left, which is just insanity. But like you said, you've already funded, so now you're just chasing stretch goals, which is cool. All right, so everybody, man, awesome book. If you like your hot sauce or your coffee, man, I would say go get it. Very nice.
And chips.
And chips. Chips are coming.
Now that
Good
I've had
job.
hot sauce, I really would like a root beer.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you get them, man. It's the old thing with a movie theater. So you sell someone salty popcorn, so they have to get a drink. They have to get up to go to the bathroom, so they miss that part of the movie, so they have to buy another ticket to watch it again.
Mm.
It's a cycle.
There you
It's a cycle.
All right. So, and this one needs no introduction. Because why?
Why? Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
You want me to play the video?
Yeah, sure.
Am I going to get copy strike off of this?
Most likely.
Thanks. All right, so Dash, walk us through it.
So, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm who trains to become a knight, hoping to win a king's favor and save her people. In volume 3 of this four-volume series, it's actually 16 issues in total. Eagle Raven survives the ordeal of the tower, emerging with the title of Knight of Turnham. As she returns to her enchanted kingdom, the stakes rise as she realizes the Dragon Lords are attempting to resurrect a goddess and start a war with the entire realm. After refusing a tempting parley, I really enjoy that word, parlay, with the manipulative Prince Rillian, Eagle Raven is forced to assert her rightful claim to the throne of Edenron in a challenge brought by rival elves who resent her return. Eagle Raven is the story of trying to find your place in the opposite worlds and learning the people who will stand by your side and lift you up are not the ones you expect. It's a sort of sorcery fantasy with a soap opera twist, featuring character relationship-centered stories with unicorns, elves, dragons, and furries. As I try to do my best Toy Galaxy voice. So like I said, this is the third volume of a 4-volume series. So there's 4 more issues left. And everything's on the campaign, including this absolutely gorgeous Zhang Brothers variant cover that I am doing for a special reprint of Eagle Raven issue 1. There's 3 versions of this. There's the trade dress version, the virgin cover version, and there's a virgin nude version, which I am taking a big chance, obviously nowadays, showing it on on Kickstarter, but God knows. And also the covers are available as a metal cover set. The Zhang brothers are a like bucket list thing for me to do here, and I'm so happy to have them on this campaign. And in fact, I love it so much that I'm on my like third piece with them. Also available on this campaign are sketched signed remark cards that I've limited to, I think, like 24 in total. And I was really surprised at how quickly they're selling. So there's not that many left. So if you like to have a remarked signed card, the book plate, actually, there's a few left on the campaign. But yeah, so everything is available as physical copy and PDFs for people who prefer to not add more books to their shelves. And I think yeah, my mind's at a blank here. So it's my office has turned into an easy bake oven. So too hot. So everything everything is available, including Tall Tales if you missed any of the previous campaigns for that book. And also on this campaign is my infamous adult book, Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut, for anybody who's missed that. And if you're unfamiliar with Kickstarter, there's an infographic there to walk you through the process of pledging to the campaign. So I think we have about 2 weeks left on the campaign, and that's it. If you like fantasy, if you like adventure, if you like everything that I've mentioned in the prologue, this is the book to pick up, I guess. I don't know. maybe I should leave a review of myself on Goodreads.
So you said there's a total of 16 issues in the series?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, is that a definitive ending, or
yes, it's a
definitive
ending for this particular story. So I do have more stories to come that comes after, but this is written to be its own thing. So if nobody picks up any of the other books afterwards, they still have a complete story in this series.
Okay, cool. And what type of schedule are you looking at? Like how far are you looking to get like, is issue 13 done? Is issue 14?
Well, I'm in the middle of issue 13 as we speak. Actually, I'm working on it right now as we're doing this. So I'm hoping to have issue 13 on Kickstarter probably by September. And then just like try to get the other issues out like probably like every month or every 2 months afterwards. So hopefully I can finish the bulk of it in 2027. Gotcha. With maybe the last trade maybe hitting at the end of 2027 or the beginning of 2028.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Very nice, very nice. And you have a total of 14 days ago, so you got 2 weeks. Before you smashed your funding goals, so you're doing good. Yeah. All right, cool. I know who's buying dinner. Thanks.
Right.
So yeah. What is it? Real quick, I'm running a campaign currently for Dreamweavers, issue number 3. So Dreamweavers is a story that I had originally started in '92 with the artist Matt Lunsford, and it just got away from us. But we had produced 3 issues, and what I had done was I wanted to finish the series. I finished it as a prose novel, and what I'd done here was I would say, you know what, let's finish it as a comic book. I got it. I remastered the entire thing, relettered the whole thing. We had it. Now it's in full color as opposed to before it was all in black and white. And we're looking forward to finishing this puppy. It's going to either be anywhere from 6 to 8 issues. We're not sure just yet. But right now, this is the 3rd issue. And yeah, it's about 4 kids who are, whenever they go to sleep, their role-playing game characters come into our reality and they fight demons. But the only problem is that those kids inhabiting those bodies, they don't really know what they're doing. They're kids. So they cast spells and they do all this stuff, but the real entities that live within those bodies are in the background, like screaming. They're like, let us out so we can fight these demons. So there's this conflict that's constantly going back and forth. And sometimes the other personas come out and the kids get pushed back and just sit in the subconscious. So yeah. But this is issues 1 through 3, or all 3 of them are available. This particular one is 24 issues, 24 pages, excuse me. And and we got another, I don't know. I started this on Friday, so we got another 27 days ago. We already met our goal, and we're just on our way to meeting more stretch goals. We've already met our first stretch goal, and one of the things that's in there as a stretch goal is a trading card. That happened. This trading card is Magique. It's part of a group set that I'm with. Tom, JD, Marvin is involved. So these are the cards that unlock. So you get that with this, and if you back the other campaigns, you'll get the other cards in the campaign, and you can put them together, and they will make a nice, very, very awesome image on the back of those 9 cards. So there you go. Go check it out. Thank you. All right, that's enough for that. Tom, you're up.
Okay, what sort of conspiracy theory or like weird world rumor do you know enough about that you'd be able to and be interested in making a comic book out of it? It could be JFK, it could be Roswell, it could be dinosaurs in the Amazon, it could be whatever. What sort of weird thing do you know about that you'd be like, yeah, I could make a story out of that?
All right, cool. Frank, you're up.
Yeah, loaded question.
Frank's like, that's my story now.
Yeah, conspiracy stuff. I don't buy into a lot of the conspiracy stuff. Don't have time in my headspace for all that. My ADD would lead me down too many rabbit holes, and I'd quickly lose my mind. But being a fan of like supernatural and sci-fi and fantasy and stuff, I could totally latch on to some sort of alien or extraterrestrial theme for sure.
Cool. Marvin, what are your thoughts?
So I mean, I got 2 in the bag right now that I'm looking at. So time travel, but dealing with time travel as a math equation, because traveling to the past, you have to know where the position of the Earth is. You're going to try and travel into space or into a wall. And then has anyone ever heard of the chronovisor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Mm-hmm.
The chronovisor.
Chronovisor? No, what is it?
So it's a device that was created in 1972 by a father in the Vatican that it's supposed to allow you to see into the past. So you can like look into this thing and see past events. But like looking at some of the pictures, I started laughing at a few things that it was showing. Like, nah, why does that man who no one's seen look like the guy that's in a painting that someone has seen? So, but I did see there's a movie coming out, so they kind of blew things out of proportion for me. So it's something that I've been taking notes on. To see what kind of story you can make out of it.
Okay. Cool. Mark, what are you thinking?
Mark is gone.
What do you mean Mark is gone?
Oh, there you go. Back here. There we go. I don't know what happened there.
Welcome back.
But I got back in. There's some conspiracy. I was going to say the truth, man, but you know how it is. Kind of all my books deal with different things like that, like a different reality than the reality that's in front of us. In fact, the spirit characters struggle with this because they're so science-based that when ghosts show up, especially the kind of lead science character is really resistant and sort of tries to find explanation and things like that. But all that has kind of gone by the wayside now that they've had psychic adventures, met with Sasquatch, and now are off to West Virginia to meet with the Mothman. So sort of the interesting thing I have for that is there's a group in my books that have been paying attention to these young women and sort of seeing what they've been doing, and they finally contacted them to help with Mothman here. So they are revealed, like we all were in our junior and senior years of high school, that the world is a much bigger place than we realized, and that you may think you're not being paid attention to, but you are actually being paid attention to. My other comic, Strange Ranger, I got a weremoose, so I'm all over this stuff, man.
No deer lady? Just a weremoose?
Just a no deer lady yet. Just a weremoose named Gord who wears flannel shirts and is a nice guy. So,
all right. That's cool. Daphne, what are your thoughts?
Well, I have it muted because of the party next door. I wouldn't do a comic of it, but my favorite conspiracy theory is Dulce Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's a conspiracy theory that talks about how there's a multi-layer underground base that is run by both reptilians and greys. And they're conducting human animal hybrid experiments in the base. And what it is that, like, supposedly, like, the United States allows them to do that because then it keeps both those aliens busy, as opposed to, like, you know, doing whatever else they would be doing. And the biggest part of the conspiracy is that supposedly there was like some kind of military, American military uprising in the base in order, you know, fighting both the reptilians and the greys, and like you do, right? And then there was only like one sole survivor, and this guy, you know, and this guy has, of course, he does the he's been doing the you know, like the kind of like the UFO circuit and this, that, and the other thing. And yeah, so it's like, so just the thought of like, you have, I don't know, because I always imagine like the reptilians to look more like slee stacks, so it makes it even funnier. So I don't know, it's like there's just something about like how absolutely like bugged this story is. Now, mind you, and also the survivor supposedly, like, he created a diagram as to what the base looked like, this military guy, and everybody who looks at the drawing goes, this thing is impossible. Like, it's the most ridiculous, like it's so logically impossible that it's, you know, but just the fact that it kind of you know, it kind of reminds me of this thing that I recently read. But then again, Mark Twain also said a variation of this, where it's like, you know, facts need to be verified, you know, it need to be confirmed and verified, while bullshit just has free reign of everything. So yeah, so that's the conspiracy theory I enjoy immensely. But I would do a comic on it because it's not my thing.
That's fair. For myself, I'm like a liberal arts major in this. I know just enough to be really annoying, but I don't know enough about anything to really be effective. Right? So your mileage may vary, because yeah, you know, it's funny, as much stuff as I've covered in my books, conspiracy theories is never one of them. You know, which is, I guess, is maybe something I should look into. So yeah, Tom, that's where I'm at, man. I could just be annoying. I don't know anything else. So what are your thoughts, Tom?
I have found myself really enjoying the flat earth stuff. It's just crazy people on from at every angle. I don't care who believes in the sphere or flat earth, y'all are crazy. And I was talking to my editor one time, as I was at a con, and somehow it came up, flat earth stuff, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, there's no flat earth stories. There's no movies, there's no TV shows, there's no comics. It's like, there's no flat earth stuff. And I messaged her and I was like, there's no flat earth stuff. She was like, yeah, probably not. like she was annoyed at me. Like, yeah, probably not.
That's
And I was
because
like,
it's turtles all the way
yeah,
down.
yeah. And so I was like, but this is like there's stuff here, there's story here, like the thought process that it's the ice wall all the way around, and you know, the ice wall is guarded by the military around the world, so you can't get to it. And if you do get to it, you go through this crack in the wall, and there's like a whole other space out there, and it's like, holy shit. So I was like, there's a story here, and I'm gonna find it. And she was like, whatever, do what you want. And so I started to think about it, and I was like, well, how can I put like how can I Tetris this together? And I started to think about other things that were talked about with the Earth, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like global warming and shit. What if global warming? What if somebody found the ice wall? What if somebody realized that when they got there that the ice wall was actually melting, and that's the problem with global warming? It's not so much that we're going to raise the sea levels, is that the wall is going to melt and we're all going to fly off into space. I was like, I just found something fucking awesome. And when I got home from that con, I started to take some notes down and just to remind myself. And I started looking around online, talking about the ice wall and stuff. And goddamned if I didn't find that exact thing. It already exists. It's already out there. It's already in the world as like, no, global warming is going to melt the ice wall and we're all going to spin off into space. I was like, oh
no, the elephants holding up everything are going to catch us.
Well, you
hope. Did you find anything about? Because I just recently read that the CEO of Columbia, which is the outdoor apparel company. Right, that he actually trolled flat earthers, saying that he would that anybody who could discover, like, find the ice wall, the edge, and you know, that he would hand over his company to them. And you know, and what's funny was that he turned all the replies into an advertising campaign because everyone wants to say that flat Earth is real, but nobody actually wants to go out and explore it. Because he was saying, it's like, look, I'm only encouraging you guys to go outside, to go find this ice wall.
Go outside, literally, go outside.
Right, yeah. And while you're at it, while you're searching for the ice wall, all I want is proof of this ice wall. Just make sure you're wearing Columbia clothing while you're doing it.
Product placement.
Genius.
Exactly.
While you're at it, you should have a root beer and some hot sauce.
And some dead chips.
Go. Marketing and advertising.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Product placement.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Marvin, we can talk. So, you know, the next time I do an Oswald issue, I might be able to get, you know, some hot sauce in there.
Right.
Maybe some coffee. All right. So, you know, it's funny. Like, all the time we talk about pencilers, we talk about inkers. Well, not so much inkers sometimes on occasion, but mostly we talk about pencilers, lead pencilers. So I got a question for everybody. Who is your favorite colorist in comics? It doesn't have to be just Indy. It could be
I got in big trouble one time telling inkers that they were about to be replaced by everything else in the world. They didn't like that.
Did you remind them they were just tracers?
Yeah. I'll do that next time.
Frank, you're up.
Yeah, sure. Do I have to pick one? I mean, this is my space. I'm a colorist myself, but if I had to pick one, it'd be I've been really fond of Michelle Rosenberg. She's been doing a lot of stuff with Moon Knight, and she's done a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But she's just fantastic. I really dig her style.
Okay, cool. Marvin, what are your thoughts?
Oh, of course, I'm going to have to go with Luis Antonio Delgado from Ninja Turtles, and just a coincidence that he does the Edge also. Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. The quinky ding. You know how I feel.
Okay. Fair enough. Mark, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with. This might also be a Quinky Dink, but my artist Melissa Caprione does amazing colors and has always done amazing colors, and done some great colors for other people's work as well. I'm trying to look up who did the colors in Helen of Winterhorn. Does Evalie do all her own colors too? I think she might. So that book, Helen of Winterhorn, that coloring was fantastic. So
Cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's an immediate answer for me. I mean, there's great colorists sort of in the history of comics, and people are doing great stuff now. But Nia Rufino is my go-to for so much. She started as a colorist for us back in the day. She's been with us since the beginning of Big Dog Inc. She started as a colorist. She's worked for DC and Marvel, and she used to color all of J. Scott Campbell's stuff. And we got to start to work with her on colors for stuff that we did. But then when we started Legend of Oz 15 years ago, we gave her the opportunity to become a cover artist as well. Like, hey, you want to do all of our B covers for retail? And she's been doing that ever since. And this is the most recent thing that she did. And she does the art, she does the colors, she does the whole thing. She's been doing colors for interiors for us as well, here and there, and fill in pages and stuff. She can do basically everything, and that's why we inducted her into the Big Dog Inc. Hall of Fame a couple of weeks ago when we were out at the Legend of Oz, well, the Ozstravaganza show where we were celebrating Oz. We had her with us for the first time, so we inducted her into the BDI Hall of Fame. She's been with us since year one at doing colors and stuff. So it's Nia.
Cool. Daphne?
I literally can't answer this question because I haven't, like, whenever I see coloring, it's always in the context of the work that they're doing, and it's like, okay, well, that coloring looks good there, but like, I don't think I've ever seen a colorist that it's like, ooh, you know, it's like, oh, they're on a book, or this, like I haven't seen a colorist enough that I could recognize names. Honestly, I think most comic book coloring is very similar. It like melds a lot together. So usually, like, if I see coloring that stands out, it's because it looks good on their own stuff. But yeah, I have no opinion on this. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely a demerit there. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, but for myself, it was one of my old school favorites. Is Lynn Varley.
yeah,
You know,
I was going
especially
to
on
say.
Frank Miller. You know, when you see her stuff, I mean, I've always liked Frank's stuff, but I don't think it's ever popped as much until Lynn really got to it. You know, and I think like she's like an excellent colorist. So.
Well, and that apartment somewhere in Manhattan where Frank and Lynn and the other guy, the inker, or Klaus Johnson lived with them. All those people lived together, and they must have done just some amazing stuff that they just, did on grocery lists and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, it's damn. Which book is that? There's it's one of the Daredevil books. I mean, and it's one Frank illustrated, and it's one that she. I mean, it just looks incredible. There's stuff that's in there is just crazy looking, and it's just like, wow, that's So Lynn Varley for me. All right, Daphs, you're up.
Okay, so when you account for like all the writing that all the writing that you've done, whether it's published, not published, because I'm sure like as writers we have work that we've written but just are in a corner somewhere because we just don't know what to do with it. But like accounting for all the writing that we do, what is your favorite reoccurring theme or subtext or just theme in general that you keep finding yourself returning to no matter what you write? Why are they your favorites, and why are they your favorites to explore in your writing?
All right, cool. Marvin, you're up.
Oh man, that's a good question. I think a lot of themes that I always return to is the price of power and the inability of people who have power to wield it properly. Because it seems to be something that always seems to be something that's always in the back of our heads and something that's always in front of our faces. That you give somebody a little bit of power to test them out and they run with it and destroy things along with it. And I don't think I can get away from that, especially with the way the Edge is structured, of it being you're getting these powers that you have no control over and then watching as they try to destroy you.
That's cool. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Well, a couple of things. I like stories that refer back to other stories in two ways. Like, so it's kind of like a fifth act story. Like, some story happened and now we're dealing with the repercussions of that story, and you get to tell two stories at once, slowly over time, and you get to see the repercussions of small things turn into big things. I think that's definitely one thing that I like. And then and this is totally like self-serving, but I love that all my comic books all take place in the same universe. All the novels I write take place in the same universe. Different universes between those two, but I love when you read in a story like that and you get that little hint, like you're like, oh, and you get that idea that everything's connected, because then you're looking for those connections. And I think that as a theme, that's a relevant thing, in the same way that like we all had that moment where we're reading through like our second or third Stephen King book and you're like, wait a minute, these are all the same story. Like, they're all the same universe. And you're like, then how does this connect to this? And it reinforces the idea of connections to me.
Okay, that's cool. Frank, what are your thoughts?
For me, a theme that I always end up landing on in some way, shape, or form, and it's probably likely just due to my punk rock kid roots, just kind of never leaving me, but it's very much just a buck the system, damn the man. I like seeing someone oppose corrupt structures in some way, shape, or form. That's just something that I've always kind of leaned back into. Even like I referenced, playing D&D. I've played D&D for years. I'm a forever DM, so I've done a lot of writing in that space. So even if it's not like upfront and obvious, it could take place in a high fantasy world, but I'm always having some element of that in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Tom?
I don't understand themes. I get it when people talk about it, but I don't write with any sort of consciousness about anything you guys just talked about. Now, when I can look back and I can read my stuff and be like, oh, this is about friendship, and this is about this, and this is about this, and so on. But it was never written like consciously, I'm going to write about this thing, this idea. It's always just, what is the story? What does the story require to be good? What does the story require for the characters to interact properly? What does the story require to have, drama or whatever? But I don't really have, I don't consciously have written themes into my work. So anybody that finds something, you're finding something that was just organically sort of put into the story, versus like, this is where I'm going to talk about X, Y, and Z.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
So when you look back on everything that you've written, is there, because a lot of themes are not you know, like we're not, a lot of writers don't just sit down and go, oh, I'm going to write a story about friendship today. It's like, there's
Okay.
something that, you know, when you look at all your stories, like what is a theme that ends up repeating that either you're like, oh, I like, it seems like I like writing about this certain thing that maybe, well, yeah, it wasn't conscious, but it keeps reoccurring in your stories.
I'm looking at all the books I wrote and
Yeah.
I'm comparing notes. And I don't think that there's anything like, I look at Critter and then I look at Oz and I look at Penny for Your Soul, and they're so vastly different in what they are. You know, Critter is science fiction and parallel universes and you know, spandex, and then Legend of Oz is a steampunk western. Penny for Your Soul is about the end of days if it happened in Las Vegas. You know, everything is so vastly different that I don't know that there's Ursa Minor, Princesses versus Zombies. Everything is just so different. I don't know that anything that I do carries over in any sort of hard way, to be perfectly honest. Everything sort of seems to sit in its own pocket of, you know, need for that story to progress and go. But like, I wouldn't say that, you know, the friendship theme that exists in Oz, but that's not because I made it. That's because L. Frank Baum made that. So it exists within Baum's sort of foundations of like friendship and home and et cetera, et cetera. But those things don't really exist in Critter. They don't exist in Penny for Your Soul. They don't exist in Scheherazade. So I don't know. I think I'm just sort of, again, I think everything for me is just sort of what's the need. But because everything I write is so different, like somebody, I don't know, was it Marcus said everything's in the same universe, or was that Frank? Like if everything's in the same universe, I can see where you can kind of watch things sort of rotate through and come back around. But everything that I do is in their own pockets. And so each one kind of has its own pocket elements that really don't flow back. So I don't see it. So if anyone reads my stuff and you tell me I'm wrong, I'm willing to listen. This is a critique I'm willing to listen to. But
Post it to Goodreads.
Yeah. Put it on Goodreads so I can read it and everybody else can read it. Tell me what you have found in my books that maybe answers Daphne's question, because I think everything sort of is just a little too separate from each other.
Someone's going to discover some weird thing like all of your female characters have white shoes or something.
Or maybe they'll find out he's like Quentin Tarantino. He just has a lot of foot fetish. Let me see. For myself, I would say it's probably two of them. There's redemption is a big thing for me. And it's the lost soul trying to find their way back to good, right? So it's that sort of thing, right? So it's that person who's done wrong and just really messed up and they're trying to do better, right? And not even do better. They're trying to make up for what they did, you know? So it's not even a thing about like, oh, I'm just going to try to do better. Because no, they're actively seeking to right that wrong that they did. So that's one of them. The other one is, that the small guy can make a difference. You know, that the singular person, no matter how minor they might be, can make a difference in a story, you know, and whether that story is their own or somebody else's or a grander thing, that they can make a difference. So those are the two themes I typically run along. So. Right. So Daphne, answer your own question.
It's friendship. No, right? No. But you know, in serious,
sexy friendship.
Sexy friendship.
Yeah, definitely. How I guess the theme that I like to revisit is how we're the sum of the people around us, and that success is a team effort. Because I really abhor the whole chosen one trope, and this is kind of like my way of poking at it, that it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, you're the main character, but you can't accomplish what you need to do without the right people around you. So kind of like Mission Impossible. Right? or Ocean's 11, I guess. Yeah, that's the theme that I like. That, and yeah, and that not only that, but that's where your strongest support comes from, is from the people you surround yourself with. And that even when you're at the height of your anxiety, knowing that you have the right people behind you allows you to push forward to do what you need to do. But the whole idea is like, the whole idea of like, oh, you're the only, it's like you're the only one and everyone else is just a side character. It's like, no. Everything has to come together for it to work, regardless of whether you're the chosen one or not. So, yeah, and also I really find it fun when people find themes in my writing that I didn't consciously, or maybe they just interpret the story like that. So I always find that fun too, when people tell me, it's like, oh, well, it's like the story, this is what it meant to me, and they come up with something that's like, oh, I didn't intend that at all, but go you.
Yeah, I see that all the time. It's even what's his name? Even James Cameron, like back when the first Avatar came out and people were talking about it, and some people were tearing it down, some people were like, oh no, it's about this and it's about this, about this.
Right.
He would do interviews and they'd be like, so tell us what you think. What is this really about, James? And he was like, who cares? It's what they want it to be.
Right,
That's all that matters, is what they want it to be. It's what they see. Let it be what they want. I don't need to come tell them what it is. They've already decided for themselves. Just let it be what it is.
Yeah, he's that type of, that once it's out into the world, he has no responsibility over it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, Tom, you're up.
Oh, you only get one question out of me. You should know that one now.
He's not. Tom is not trolling for comic book ideas, so he doesn't need to ask a question.
All right. So here I got one. What are you doing to improve yourself as a creator?
I focus on themes, like a lot.
Me too.
Oh, Mark went to go search.
I'm trying to find something. I got these new notebooks that have they're thumbnailing notebooks. So the better I thumbnail, the better the book is for the artist. The better they understand, the better we can have a discussion about what's going on. So I'm always trying to improve my thumbnailing. And then I'm always trying to look through the pile of stuff that we all have to find bits that I can steal and use in my comics, because everybody's those things that resonate with you will resonate with other people, and I'm all about influence and all that crazy stuff. So I think that those two things improve me as much as possible, and listening to the people who come to my table at cons and things like that and tell me what they like and what they don't like helps me always become a better creator.
All right, cool. Frank, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot like Tom was talking about early on with like getting into like the putting himself in a position to learn more about like the production side and the directing side and all of that stuff. I also like to really put myself in those positions to learn something, to take on to the next thing and the next thing, and just constantly stack those skill sets. Also, I actively seek out feedback as well. I'm the guy that will send my book to a reviewer that's known for tearing things apart and going, hey, please do me the service of laying it on me. Tell me you know, all the things that you like, dislike, whatever. The only thing I ever ask of anybody is just try and make it constructive. You know, say what you got to say. You can have your opinion. That's fine. But, you know, if you're being a douche just for the sake of being a douche, what am I supposed to take out of that as a creator? I'm always willing to be wrong and to pivot and to grow and do better on the next one.
All right, cool. Marvin, what are your thoughts?
More research on mostly dialogue. Trying to punch up dialogue more. You know, I don't like dialogue a lot. I don't like standing still talking. I never liked that idea, but I find the need for it in some later scripts that I'm doing. The dialogue has to be a little bit more standing around talking, which I don't want to do. But if people are asking for it, they want more explanation, then sometimes yeah.
That's fair. So, Tom, are you standing with your answer?
I'm going to talk to Marvin about that a little bit, because when you say research, are you researching dialogue, researching speech patterns, or are you researching visual cues for it? Because you can do a talking head scene with little to no talking actual heads. Like you can write a scene where you're focused on the dude cigarette, you know, and what he's saying is like, we're going to light this world on fire, and there's like a cigarette burning and stuff like that. Like you can move your talking head scene into an environment versus like literally like looking at a panel like what you're looking at like right now.
Wally Wood did the ultimate chart on how to do panels for talking heads.
For good or for bad?
What do you mean? It's Wally Wood. I guess however you feel about Wally Wood, that's what it is.
And listen, it works.
Yeah. Okay. I will look into that. Yeah. So I mean, it's as far as I can take it. Like you know, I don't want to do talking heads. I want to do something's happening while the person is talking to the other person. They're doing some kind of action. They're not sitting in a diner eating a sandwich.
Well, but that's the thing is like they can be doing that, but you can put them in the background and have somebody in the foreground doing something else. Like you can use the environment wherever these characters are to tell the story, as well as just seeing like, hey, I'm talking to you. Here's my word bubble. Right. There's visual ways to do that kind of stuff. And to me, that's the fun of sort of leveling up your writing is using the environment, the art, and the words at the same time. Because this is comics, so you know you want to show more than you're telling. Right. To me, you know, you don't need to sit there and have somebody describe. Oh, and there's 3 pieces of art on the wall. No, it's just there. That's like that's it. It's just there, and we're going to have somebody saying whatever he says.
So the opposite of what they did in the late 60s and early 70s, where they had to describe everything.
Where they described every goddamn my finger, and I opened my hand completely to like no, just show me that you're grabbing the dudes in the face and tearing it off.
I saw one recently with Spider-Man, and it was an old panel, and it had a dialogue box, and it said, as Peter Parker listens to what's on the radio while there's words coming out of the radio. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
Describe what the radio's doing. Yes. You already see it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, you don't want to confuse stylistic inflections as, you know, it's like, oh, this is the way, you know, it's you gotta like, I guess in this particular case, like I would take a piece of advice that Tom had said on a previous show is to actually watch movies. Like what makes a Quentin Tarantino movie compelling?
That's nothing but talking heads until they all start exploding.
Well, that's true. Right. Yes, exactly. But they have to get to the exploding first.
Right.
Like what makes movies, you know, like which movies would be, you know, like how they do a lot of talking heads. Yeah, maybe watch Ocean's 11. That's a lot of talking heads and planning and stuff. You know,
Hateful Eight is a good one because they spend so much time in that carriage talking back and forth.
Don't watch Hateful Eight. No one watch Hateful Eight. No one ever watch Hateful Eight.
No. Hateful Eight. When Netflix did the special edition,
they
broke it up into 45-minute increments,
No.
I loved that movie. I really didn't like it in the theater watching it straight, but watching it
You needed it as a series as opposed
I
to a
needed
movie.
it as episodes. And I love that movie now because of that. Look, it's all presentation, right? It's all about presentation.
Don't watch Hateful Eight. No one watches
Watch
it.
it.
Don't watch Hateful Eight.
Just an
For
example.
Marvin, he needs to watch Hateful Eight. Because
Hateful Eight is
a
wild
lot of
amounts
dialogue.
of talking heads, like
Yes,
wild,
exactly.
and then at the end they all explode. So
Yes,
that's it. So I always have loved dialogue. I've loved trying to blend the dialogue with what's happening in unique ways. And the idea of transitions, like using visuals and words to like transition from like the page turn, like wherever you end on this panel, and then you're turning the page into a new panel, like some kind of a transition, assuming you're in a new scene, some sort of a transition to like take me from the bar, out to the parking lot and whatever. And I like using words to kind of move my reader through the space. And transition was something that I had never even thought about or considered until I read a Jim Valentino article about it. Or it was an article with Jim Valentino, but he discussed how he saw like there was like this wild lack of like transitional storytelling. And in my brain, I was like, that's me. So I have to fix that. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. So that's what I try and do is I try and really kind of punch up the value of what someone's reading to make sure it's really integrated with the visual. So I'm not telling them, meanwhile, in the parking lot with the 3 cars, Spider-Man jumps in. Like, no, we can eliminate all of that heavy duty captioning and stuff and just, have a smoother, organic storytelling.
Well, and the best that comics is when you're doing more than one story at once, when the visuals are one story, the words are a different story, if possible. And if you can get captions or sound effects to tell a slightly different story, the best books are, for me, are those ones where, like, there is so much good stuff in Alan Moore's Swamp Thing in the late 80s that is Swamp Thing and Abigail standing around in a swamp. But it's story, it moves on, it reacts to what's going on. And I think that those transitions that Tom talked about are super important, especially that page turn is a thing that isn't in any other media that we have, and we should be exploiting that as much as possible, because that page turn to the big reveal is such a great thing. And when I lay my books out on my table to have people come up to them at con,
We'll never know.
We'll never know. He just lost it.
Also,
Speaking of page turn cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Sure.
One more piece of advice that I would give is that the way you lay out that scene, you should be able to, the reader should be able, or at least you should be able to get a gist of what's happening in that scene, even if it's just talking heads,
Well,
without
Daphne,
the dialogue.
Hold on. Let Mark finish his page.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
No. So I put out on my table the books on the page right before the transition scene. So they come down, they look at the book, and the first turn they get usually a splash page right away. And so that's a big reveal of art, a reveal of things are happening in this book, right?
Cool. Daphne, so you want to continue?
Oh yeah, so so if they can tell, like, if you can tell like the gist of the scene without any dialogue in it, then that means that your panels are moving in a way that when you put the dialogue in it, it enhances the scenes. but you should be able to tell what's going on without the dialogue. At least that's a trick that I do. But in terms of the question, though, the thing that I've been doing a lot recently to improve, well, I mean, for artwork, it's always a constant. It's doing the artwork, it's looking at other people's artwork, it's studying other people's artwork. But the thing that I've been trying to especially improve is my writing. And what I've been doing is just reading a lot. And and especially like these last couple of books that I've read, which were horror novels, it just shows me like a lot of interesting ways to tell a story, that it's getting to the point where I can kind of like begin to see what makes good writing and what makes bad writing, or at least not effective writing. And the funny thing is to see how independently published novels and mainstream novels kind of have the same issues as indie comics and mainstream comics, that there's a certain polish that mainstream novels or traditionally published novels have that independent novels don't have. And it's kind of interesting to see, to really recognize like what that looks like. And it's just trying to like figure out how to implement that in my own writing. Like, yeah, and it's just kind of funny to see like, oh, we're really not as two different like industries as indie comics and publishing, how traditional publishing, like how we kind of suffer from the same things. So so I've just been reading a lot. But it's interesting to kind of to see those differences.
All right, cool. For myself, it's a couple of things I've been doing very similar to Daphne. I've been trying to read more widely, right? Trying to get out of stuff that I normally like. In the last year, so I've read a couple of history books. I'm going to hit a philosophy book soon. I'm going to hit a book on marketing real soon. So that should be interesting. Aside from also reading all the other stuff that I enjoy reading, which is science fiction and fantasy. I've read, I don't traditionally read horror, but I've read some. But yeah, I mean, it's that sort of thing. And then the other thing is, and I discussed this, I think on last week's show, is like, I like as an exercise to sometimes read another person's work, right? Someone we might know, like, Mary Shelley, pick someone. I mean, it could be anybody. And try to write something in that style, so I try to mimic that style. Not what they've written, but just in that style and that voice. That's the sort of thing I try to do. And it can be a little tricky. It could be very tricky when you're trying to do that sort of thing and not come off as like just aping them entirely. So that's the tough part. And it's mostly just like as an exercise. And then usually when I do it, like sometimes I've done it in Oswald and I'll strip it out afterwards. Like I'll keep the story structure, but I'll just strip out that stuff. And I'll just like, okay, well, that wasn't meant for that, but now I'll just move that to the side. So so sometimes I'll do things like that. So that's what I've been doing. But everyone, we've made it to the 2-hour mark. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. And let's start with Mark. Mark, where can we find you? Frank, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Pigmacast.com, that has everything that I have going on. Aside from comic books, I have my fingers into a bunch of other things. That's all there as well. Also, Kickstarter, Search for Hellstones, that's launching July 1st.
All right, cool. Mark, where can we find you and your work, sir?
You can find all my stuff at plaguedoctorpress.com, as well as the Kickstarter for Spirit number 4, Mothman Needs Us.
Cool. Marvin.
TheEdgeComic.com, comicsbird.com. All the socials are there. And right now on Kickstarter for the next 32 days with Volume 3, God's Thunder.
All right, cool. Tom.
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. We're fulfilling a whole bunch of Oz stuff over the next couple of weeks, and then that'll be done. And then I'll be off to San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be at the Antarctic Press booth for the bulk of the time I'm there. And I'm going to be at the Dren Publications booth doing a signing for them as well. And then we'll be back with the next Oz segment in August.
Very good. Daphne.
Oh, you can head on over to my main site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can read Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read my archive of over 1,000 pages there. That'll keep you busy. And remember that Eagle Raven Volume 3 is on a Kickstarter right now. The link is in the chat and the show notes.
All right, cool. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those different places. Next Sunday back here, with various guests, Tom and a few other people. That'll be cool. There you go.
Dren Publications, Mr. Burks. That's the book I wrote for them.
There you go. And just remember, everybody, please check out the show notes, because in the show notes are the links to all of these creators' works. And believe me when I say these creators are all impassioned creators, they're all doing great work. So please click on those links, buy those books. These creators deserve and need your support. All right. So go check them out and, go buy some coffee and some hot sauce, because, Marvin loves that stuff. Right, Marvin?
And leave a review on Goodreads.
There you go. So just remember, everybody, read more,
About our
especially ours. Have a good night. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.